get up here in the Zoloft and get your head right. Already?
You knew it was coming.
Gremlins already. Come on. I got it, man.
Now we can hear you.
Right? Is it? Maybe I need to mute it so I can mute it again so I can go to beep, 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 beep. Get some cussing out at these gremlins, man. I got to put my kung fu on these gremlins. They're getting on my nerves. Right? So, anyway, it's Wednesday, man. What it is, Wednesday. Got a dose from the Zoloft for you. You know, this is our head right hangout, man. So, this is where we're going to kick it, man. So, you know, we can have a little break. Have us a little break, man. Take us a cozy sip from a Zoloft mug. You got your Zoloft mug, right? For your head right pleasure. So, what are we going to try to get to today, folks? What is snapping in? And thank you guys if you're joining in on the Instagram. Help me build my Instagram game. It's funny. It's like I'll see. Like, I think what happens is like people they'll like see a notification on their phone. It doesn't really say what it is. They just see notification. It's like or something like that, and they just click it and they say, "Oh, it's Zoe. Never mind." Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, thank you for joining. If you're popping in on the Instagram, hope you come on over to bronzeserpentmedia.com. If you're joining us on the YouTubes, feel free to hit that like and share button. You know, see if you can glitch the algorithm and whatever. And of course, come on over to bronzeserpentmedia.com where the real party is, and you know, hope that you become a member there. Hit that subscribe button on the YouTubes also because you know, my subscribership isn't going up, it's going down. They're making my subscribers disappear. So, you know, who knows? Maybe to help. It can't hurt. We know that much. All right, so let's go ahead and dig into it. Get your spoon, baby, your chopsticks or whatever. Let's go ahead and dig on in it. Measles! I have that stuck in my head from a cartoon from like way back in the day, and I don't remember which. I don't know if it was, you know, Looney Tunes or whichever. And I just remember that one line that gets stuck in my head. I've got measles. I don't know if you guys remember that. So, measles parties from the 1970s is one of the things that we're gonna try to get to. Oh, the 70s, man. You know Uncle Zoe loves the 70s, man. So that's gonna be that. Then we got the Trans Army. Did you guys go check out my cover, my parody?
Actually, yeah, 2 or 3 people from the chat went right to it.
Nice.
Not to mention it.
I hope you
Sorry.
liked it. Yeah, I hope you liked it. Let's see. Trans Army Facebook page recruits veterans, police officers to join rebellion. Stockpile weapons, prepare for what's coming. Ooh, scared of you. Then we got MSNBC clown. That doesn't narrow it down a lot. Says Trump will call you a terrorist if you protest Tesla. She forgot to note that dealerships are being burned down. Wow, y'all really gonna complain about it? Okay. We'll get to it. I know that you guys probably thinking the same thing I am. I know it. Let's see. Trans perp pulls gun on street preacher for saying men can't be women. And then we got President Trump, Skewers, Rosie O'Donnell. Man, it's kind of hard to not read that headline and imagine Rosie, to not imagine her with an apple in her mouth.
Gross.
With an apple in her mouth or something like that, kind of spinning around on it. Just kind of spinning around on one of them things.
On a rotisserie.
Yeah, she on a Rosie Tisserie. She's Rosie Tisserie O'Donnell, and she's just spinning around on that thing, you know, getting and slather her with some barbecue sauce. I want my baby back. Sorry, Rosie, that's her. And then we got unbulldozes, Amazon rainforest for climate summit. Yeah. How long we've been talking about this? You know. Yeah. Anyway, Texas Embalmer arrested after castrating corpse of sex offender, shoving severed genitals in his mouth. Okay, I hope you guys, if I have a song from my band or my music project, 20 Pounds Sledge, which is now Sledge X. I hope you guys check out the song from the Electric Exodus album, Trauma Sutra. This is probably a song that she would really appreciate, but I mean, what she did, okay, we're not, we'll get to it. Trauma Sutra, I hope you guys check out the song. FCC questions YouTube TV over allegation it discriminates against Christian content. Okay, let's back it on up. Measles. All right, so what do you guys take on it? I mean, you know, like we had the chicken pox party. I don't know, man. This is almost kind of like, listen, bear with me. You know, it's almost like when you have parties like this, it grooms kids to have bug parties.
Ew.
I mean, you know, it's like you got parents that host, you know, kids having a little sleepover where they get, you know, and of course, it's a sleepover for kids, but they're basically passing around diseases. And bug parties are basically when homosexuals get together and they have sex with each other to purposely give each other HIV. They purposely do it. It's a kink for them, right?
They actually did this where we lived.
Yeah, right. I mean, these were stomping grounds of ours. Another reason why we had to get on out of there. But
yep.
And the thing is, in California, you can knowingly, you know, give somebody HIV. There's no crime against it. You know, it's like so. But that's California. Once again, another reason why we had to get out of there. So all that to say, y'all, when you got people out there, and of course, when you expose people to HIV, it doesn't necessarily get it out of your system, like, you know, doing like the chicken pox or measles. I guess, you know, long story short is basically what you're trying to do. Is like, let's go ahead and just get them through it. I was one of those people that got chicken pox late. I didn't get chicken pox when I was a kid, you know, but it caught up with me like when I was in my 20s. Whooped my behind, man, and. Yeah, man, that stuff itches. It's like, you know, you like want to just like you almost want to like swan dive into a cactus patch to scratch. You know what I'm saying? So, but this right here, what do you guys think? You know, having a measles, you know, little measles get together, a little measles mingle, right? You know, hey there, are you measling? And but maybe in the 70s, y'all, that would fly. You know, our generation, I reckon, was made up of, you know, something a little bit more rugged. For some reason, we didn't pass that on to the generation that we would parent.
That
you know,
will die from peanuts.
Yeah, or it's like, you know, like we're Gen Xers, we're this, we're that. It's like, how come you didn't pass this and that on to, you know, the Gen Z would be Gen Zs, or would be the children of Generation X, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't pass that on to them. It's like you dropped the ball somewhere. All that to say, y'all. Is it going to have like the same effect on, you know, these kids? Well, actually, this wouldn't be Gen Z. This would be Alpha. You know, that they would be having these parties for, right?
Would it? Yeah, because we're already starting beta generation
right.
This year, 2025. So yeah, we're talking Alpha.
Alpha.
Where's the time going?
Alpha, beta. Anybody remember that jingle? Y'all remember that story? I know, right? Time is just scooting on by. But I guess what I'm asking is the inner workings of this respective generation's physiology. Can it handle a measles party? It's like as we were talking about earlier, you know, when you got peanuts, that you got kids that peanuts will, and it's been for a few decades now.
Yep.
Peanuts will send you to the hospital. Why would you expose them to measles?
Yeah.
You know, but I digress because it's like, well, what do you do? I mean, do you just give them a vaccine for measles? Because I get it, man. Because these people are just like, man, we don't know what you're putting in these vaccines.
Right, yeah, it's saying that this is a Texas thing since we have measles here taking off, basically where we live in West Texas. Texans are having measles parties because they are not vaccinating. So they're like, we're just going to have measles parties like they used to do back in the day.
I get it. I get it. But like I said, I asked, I said, man, they might not be made of the same stuff that we were made of where they can handle it. Fortunately,
the immune systems aren't as robust as in the 70s is what you're saying, right? Yeah.
So fortunately, I don't think we're hearing of any cases of this going bad.
There was one, but the little child had comorbidities, so.
Okay. I mean, one is too many, but it would be, if there really was something to it, I reckon there would be more, more than that. I don't know how many people are doing this. I don't know how widespread it's going to be, but I mean, I reckon that's the way that you do it. See, like kids, obviously, kids, their immune system, their thymus gland is ready to go to work, right? They can handle this stuff. I reckon it's a better time to do it. It's a weird dynamic with us, psychologically and concerning our physiology. When you're young and you don't care, and you go around and pick your nose and wipe it on stuff, or go and touch stuff and then pick your nose and rub your eyes and all that sort of stuff. And we have compensation for that. We've got this thymus gland that's ready to deal with that kind of stuff. But as we get older, our thymus gland shrinks, but at the same time, we're more conscious about things that we go stick in our nose and whatnot. In terms of digging in our nose and wiping on stuff, I don't know if that goes away, but in terms of touching our face, we're a little bit more cautious and washing our hands and things like that. So at this age, I reckon kids are a lot more ready for it. What do you guys think? I mean, is it better? Would you prefer your kids getting together with, kids that they know and they go to school with and, they play with and all that sort of stuff. And you kind of get to know each other in your neighborhood. Would you rather do that and expose them to measles and then just have them get through it? Or would you rather have them injected with something that's going to inoculate them against measles, against them with measles, but also comes with a little something extra? What do you think?
Bruce says he got measles when he was 7, and he never got shingles. I wonder if that's the key. Does anybody know, is that the key to not getting shingles? Because I had shingles very early in life, and I did have the chicken pox, and like you, my chicken pox, I had them when I was like 11.
Okay.
They were excruciatingly painful. They weren't like any other chicken pox that anybody's ever seen. And of course, my mom didn't pay attention because she was working full time, and it was just excruciating.
Yeah.
And you got the chicken pox when you were in your 20s, so it was not normal for you either.
Yeah, indeed. And now, you mentioned shingles and measles. Is shingles a fallout from measles? I didn't know that.
It seems like, they're all related.
Okay. I didn't know that. I thought the shingles was more of a fallout from chicken pox. But no, I don't ever recall having measles myself. I think I did. I think shingles came to bite me at one time.
Yeah, I think that was shingles.
Yeah, it felt like
Which means you got them early too.
Yeah, it's like shingles, man. It felt like somebody was putting a cigarette out on my, like you get on your flank, like in the back flank, there's one of the known spots for it.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, it's like you just be chilling there. Ow!
Yeah, that
right?
was crazy. I was like, what is wrong?
I know, it'll make you jump, right? It's like, hey, it's like it feels like somebody putting a cigarette out on you. Let's see. So anyway, that's my question. What do you guys think? I mean, is it a practical thing to do? Is it pragmatic to just go ahead and expose the kids to measles? This is the controlled setting. I guess this is the most convenient way to deal with it. I mean, because these things can be an inconvenience. It's like, look, let's just go ahead and make it happen at the same time. Let's go ahead and get this this bug pool. Let's just get that going. the herd immunity, if you will. Let's just get that happening and get through it and back to business. You know.
Yeah. Did you give the Measles or the Measles the MMR, was it measles, mumps, and rubella vaccines to your kids? And did they get measles at any point? I'm curious. I know you and I got measles, the MMR shots. Measles, mumps, and rubella. Because you had to have them to go to school in California.
I guess I want it for me. Like I wonder, man, because I just remember being stupid afraid of needles. I mean, man, I was ridiculous. I was ridiculous when it came to needles, man. I would throw a fit. I remember only getting a couple shots in my life. I don't remember getting those series of shots. I don't know how I was allowed in school because I don't know if I ever got them. I don't know if I ever got them shots. But you try to give me you just stick a needle in me, I would lose my flipping mind. Right? I don't know where I got that from. You know, I don't know. It's just well, it's like, well, so I think that's just called being a sissy. That's what that was. And I had sissiosis, like really bad. I had a mean case of sissiosis when it came to needles, boy.
I think most kids are like that.
Not like me.
What?
Seriously, I was ridiculous. You know, like when you know, like when you try to give a cat a bath.
Yes.
And that cat will it will just lose its doo-doo if you try to give it a bath. That was me with needles. I was climbing the walls, y'all. I for real. I don't know why. I was just totally terrified.
Wow.
Psycho when it came to needles. Yeah. It's like I don't know. Maybe because the first shot I remember was probably a deltoid shot. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's what it was. And deltoid shots do not tickle.
No, they hurt.
You know?
And then if the person doesn't know how to give them well, they really hurt.
Yeah, or just don't care, just like really callous and just go ahead, you know, and just do whichever. Because I think maybe, because now that I think about it, it seemed like maybe the first shots that I would remember were on base of the Air Force brat, right? Yeah. And the Air Force doctors were nothing nice to my mom. I remember that, yeah. So when it came to like her pregnancy with me, you know, flipping medieval, y'all.
Absolutely.
Medieval.
Yeah.
Okay. And so
they could care less about if she was in pain or not. Yeah.
It was so like if it probably came when it came time to give me my shots, and I'm just speculating. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure I was probably on base. And but yeah, that must have been it. It must have been a deltoid shot that did it because them things hurt.
Yeah.
And but you know after that, psycho. So I don't even remember if I got all my immunization shots. It's like, I don't know if I got the measles shots, the mump shots, or whichever.
She probably had to pay somebody off.
I know, like hold me down, like sit on me or something like that, you know. Let's see, what else we got here? Trans army. Anybody in there like that? Were you guys like afraid of it, or did you just suck it up and you take it because you're like, you know, you're all hardcore and whatever. You know, whatever.
That was me. Sorry. I had to have allergy shots because I was such a sickly child. I had to have like 6 shots a week. So I would just roll my sleeves up and go, come on.
I know, right? Girl, I watched her take arterial sticks. Come on.
I'm not.
You have to knock me out, right? It's a nice arterial stick. Okay, so let's see. Trans army. So it's like, but don't get it twisted though. I still wear pants on it.
Yes.
She's tough and whatever. Baby came out sideways, didn't scream or nothing. She's like that girl in that dude in what was it?
Oh yeah, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. She's short and skinny, but she's strong.
She's strong. All right, we got Trans Army. Trans Army Facebook page recruits veterans, police officers to join rebellion, stockpile weapons, prepare for what's coming. That's, you know, the thing is, that's the only thing that they're not incorrect about themselves. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that they actually identify that's correct. Rebellion. Yep. That is exactly what they are. And yeah, y'all, I'm going there. I'm gonna go there again because I'm trying to tell you, we're gonna keep dealing with this.
Yep.
Because The right wing really doesn't know what to do with it. You cannot hit what you refuse to see. And Republican voters, mainstream Republican voters, they really don't know how to culturally and spiritually deal with this. They think that the political dealings that they're doing with this is what's going to solve it. Got it backwards. Okay? These people are in rebellion, and they at least know that about themselves. They may not have a clue about what they're saying. They're totally gender confused, they're perverts and all that sort of stuff. But the one thing that they do know about themselves is that they're rebels, is that they're that they're in a state of rebellion. Y'all, they are rebels against nature. They are rebels against God. They are rebels against the Constitution. The Constitution itself describes these people, and it uses the root word of rebellion. Okay? It's in there. These rebellious acts, that's what these people are doing. That's who the Democrats have been. Constitution described them, but the Republican voter insists on calling them radicals. I don't know why. Well, I know exactly why, because they think that they're really sticking it to the Democrats by describing as rebels, because they think that by invoking Saul Alinsky's sentiments against them, Saul Alinsky's sentiments, they think that they're using Saul Alinsky and it's going to hurt them somehow. See, they're like Saul Alinsky, who calls them radicals and wants to be rules for radicals, and Satan was the first radical and all that sort of stuff. It's like y'all are falling into Saul Alinsky's trap. He's setting traps for you beyond the grave, y'all. And Republicans just keep on doing this, and I keep telling you, dude, it's going to get worse, man. This stuff is going to keep coming because you can't hit what you refuse to see. And if you keep seeing them as radicals, you're going to keep missing your target. I'm trying to tell you. Those little things that you're so dismissive of, those things add up. Okay? And it's adding up to these people being more and more emboldened. You don't know how to hit them. You can't see them because you refuse to see them. All right? They're not radicals. They're rebels. All right? So, as we look at the article, what's the article going to say here? Facebook, get out of my way, cookies. All right, Facebook says, right off the bat, look at the first line. This is coming from the Christian Post. See, and this is disappointing because this is the Christian Post, right? When the Word of God is telling us we're supposed to be the radicals. We're the ones who are supposed to be rooted. That's what radical means. Rooted. We're supposed to be the radicati, y'all. All right, that's supposed to be us. You give them our distinction, and like I said, that's why people think the parties will switch sides. Right?
Yep.
That's why, and that's why they don't trust us. Come on, man. So right in the first, right here, Facebook says a radical trans group. Okay. So you're gonna call them radicals. They're not radicals.
When they called themselves rebellious in this article,
yeah, and
a clue was given to the author.
Right, and you still gonna call them radicals. All right, so this radical group with over 500,000 followers that is actively recruiting military veterans to form a trans. And you know what the sad part of it is, y'all, is that the response to me from Republican voters. Their response is, one, well, radical means something totally different today. Well, that's because you have allowed them to control the language.
Right.
That's why. Okay, so you're admitting that you rolled over on it and you gave them the power of the language, number one, and saying, well, that I'm just hung up on a word, like it doesn't mean anything. Other than why the crap do you keep using it? You're the one who keeps using it as if you expect it to have some sort of effect. And I keep telling you, it does. It does have an effect, a very negative one against you. You're hurting, you don't hurt Democrats by using the word. You only hurt yourself. You might want to stop doing that. Stop hitting yourself. It's like you should be better at hitting Democrats better than you are at hitting yourself. But you can't hit what you refuse to see. All right. So for violent rebellion in the United States doesn't violate the social media giants' policies. Okay, so we definitely see the hypocrisy there. What happened? What happened, Zuck? What happened, dude? Anyway, you guys know what's up with that. The Trans Army page, which has over 557,000 followers on Facebook, has called on its followers to stockpile weapons, recruit ex-military personnel, and train for violent acts, training for those personnel that Trump said, yeah, we're not doing the trans thing anymore. So I guess they're not going to be in there anymore. They're going to be recruited into this thing. So, y'all, once again, when we look at these people, these sodomites, okay, those who, this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, and the Lord tells us, if the Lord's going to warn us, he tells us how to deal with it. And we're not heeding the warning if we're dealing with stuff like this. Be careful not to scoff at stuff like this, y'all. I know you're going to have those people out there who are going to be like, come and take it, and and I wish they would come and try and mess with me and all that sort of stuff. I've got something for them and whatnot. Okay. Please reflect on the word of God, y'all. Sodom and Gomorrah was not just some, blue-haired, limp-wristed, blue, pink hair, whatever, sissies. These perverts were powerful. Okay? Their perversion is you guys can see it now happening. Don't you see the oppression of these perverts? How they're just getting into everything and they want to control how everything is going. Sodom and Gomorrah was the same way. Sodom and Gomorrah, the account will tell you that even the other heathen nations surrounding them, y'all, the oppression of Sodom and Gomorrah had gotten so bad. The heathen nations were calling out to God. God, come do something about this. God had to pour out fire on Sodom. It took that, y'all. It took that. Please don't think that can't happen here, where these people have just have been able to impose their ideology, their perversion on us to such a level, okay, where what can you do about it, y'all? The things that as I've said 1,000 times, and I'm sorry if I'm stepping on any toes here. Look at what's happened to our country. Look at what's happened. Has the Second Amendment stopped it? No. The Second Amendment it was useless for the way that they have campaigned and what it is that they're doing, for what they have done to this country. The Second Amendment has been useless. As I've said many times, to those who keep saying the Second Amendment protects the First, I'm telling you, the First Amendment has been used to erode the Second. Okay, the Second Amendment did not stop our right to free speech, the imposition or the infringement of our right to free speech. Look what happened to Trump. Look what happened to me. Look what happens to a lot of people. People being deplatformed, people being demonetized, people being marginalized, not even able to have a voice. The Second Amendment did nothing to protect that. Nothing. All right. So these people are y'all. It's like a constrictor, y'all. The snake has gotten a hold. We talk about don't tread on me. And we got a snake. We got the mighty snake on the Gadsden flag. Talk about don't tread on me. Y'all, the serpent has gotten hold of America, baby. The constrictor. All right? And it just keeps on tightening its grip, don't it? You feel the squeeze, don't you? Right? So, and not to mention the venom. It's a venomous constrictor. That venom been gotten into America, baby. Right? And the toxin, it is working its way. Working its way through the system. All right? So I've been trying to say, man, and I know I'm stepping on some toes on this. Look, it has to be waged a different way, and it's not going to be answered. It's not going to be answered with your firearms. Y'all, I'm as pro Second Amendment as anybody else, but you got to understand what kind of battle has come against us. And a lot of Republican voters don't get that. It's not going to be And you can't, it's not going to be waged. You can't respond with the Second Amendment. What you have, it's like your hands are tied as far as that goes. You can't respond that way. It ain't going to be won politically. Okay? It's this the response to this is something that is over the majority of the Republican voters' head. They could get it. They could. They just refuse to. They think that it's going to be solved like this. And y'all, the only strategy that the mainstream Republican voter has is that they have to wait until Democrats make things so bad. That's their strategy.
Yep.
Because other than that, they can't sell their platform for crap. They can't sell freedom, y'all. They can't sell capitalism. They can't sell the free market. The Democrats do a better job of selling those things for the detriment of America than we do for it being for the purposes of America. You know I'm right. In America, and the mainstream Republican voter is waiting for their political messiah to solve these things. It ain't gonna work that way. All right? So these people, man, they're putting their little militias together. Right? And they gonna get, they getting away, look at, they getting away with it. They getting away with it. Right? We're supposed to be the pro-militia people. We're supposed to be the ones who understand what it is to have a well-regulated militia.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be the ones who understand that. Look what they do. 557,000 followers. Y'all, the battle has to be weighed. It has to be responded to. Mm-hmm. The counterattack has to have a different approach. And so what we're trying to tell you, it's like, you know, and I've been trying to say, look, man, this is how we do it. This is how we do it. We do. You know, I mean, you know, the shadow banning is making sure that, you know, the word doesn't get out there. In conservative ink, big con, they certainly don't. They want to be the oracles.
Yep, absolutely.
They want to be the oracles who just make sure that people are informed enough to be angry, right? That's their livelihood. Their livelihood is to make sure that your pride is stroked and that your anger is stroked. That makes them rich and famous. That makes them the high-powered influencers they are, as all you get is more frustrated. But you're informed. What you gonna do with the information, though? Right? It's like in martial arts. You know, martial arts. You know, I've been in martial arts long enough to see that. Okay, yeah, that technique that's really cute and everything. Can you deliver it? Yeah. What's your delivery system? What is the point of when you're able to make contact with your opponent? Beat your opponent to contact, and then deliver, you know, that you know, fascinating little technique that you got there. All right, it's a whole different thing. And see, if you got the information, you went through your katas or your kyuns or whatever you want to call them, right? It doesn't matter if it's an Oriental style of boxing or a Western style of boxing. It all has a form. Right? People be talking about, I like boxing, you know, because it's more realistic. It doesn't have any forms. Boxing has forms. Okay, a jab is a very specific movement. There's a form to it. Right cross has a form to it. All right, you have to define these things. You can't just make up some kind of punch and call it a jab. No, it's a specific execution to the movement. Right? So, but the bottom line is, okay, so you got this jab. You got this jab down. You got the information. You know the kinetics that constitute this movement that we call a jab. If you don't have the right delivery system for it, your jab is useless. Mm-hmm. Okay? You got to be able to know how to advance on your opponent. You got to be able to know how to counter. You got to there's those adaptations, right? Sure, you know how to do your dips. You know how to bob and weave and all that sort of stuff. And counter with a range appropriate jab as a setup, and then a counter with the range appropriate and angle appropriate response, right? So if you don't have that sense of a delivery system, you're gonna be in trouble. You got the information, but the application in the delivery system and the adaptation of it, that is the mainstream Republican Party. So endowed with information. In terms of a delivery system, they ain't got it, y'all.
Yeah.
They are dependent on their opponent They're dependent on their opponent, basically, I don't know, beating themselves up or slipping and falling or something like that. But in terms of like landing a shot, not really. No. So this right here, with these violent activists that are coming in, you know, rather than looking at what, you know, how perverted they are, and they are perverts, we have to do some self-examination on how we're gonna deal with these things. Because once again, y'all, we don't want a repeat of Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah has been growing here for, you know, and you don't want that monster to get to a point where they are violently imposing upon us. You know, where their perversion is just taken. I mean, y'all, these are the real fascists. Y'all, this is an admission. This is an admission of full-on fascism, right? These people are forcing their ideology on us, and they want to make it policy. The statists who are for them, who use them as a voting bloc, they don't really care about their ideas, but they know that there's enough perverts in America to have a strong enough constituency where they can get in and they can basically go in and make themselves rich as politicians.
Yeah.
Right? We got a whole bunch of that. So these people in there, this is your actual fascism, that they're going to coerce us, they're going to threaten us into making us live by their policies. Only really for really only the elite to enjoy. But hey, as long as their perversion is being satisfied and they get to take it out on us, you know, so what? You know, that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds small and silly because they call themselves the Trans Army, but like you said, the page got over 500,000 followers, and they're asking former military, current police, any sort of armed services people, those are who they're asking for to be in this Trans Army. And they blatantly say on their page, we want you to be one with your weapon, and we are ready and willing for violence. And they're promising us, what was it, the Day of Vengeance, the Trans Day of Vengeance. They are promising, and they are especially targeting Christians, you guys. They are promising a Trans Day of Vengeance.
Yeah.
But Facebook says this is fine.
Yeah, and like I said, see how they're able to get away with it?
Yeah.
The people who share these people who share their ideologies, y'all, they got a safe space.
Yes, exactly.
How long have I been saying, y'all, that you know, we're operating in their backyard, y'all. We're operating in enemy territory. We've been dependent on it.
Yeah.
We've been dependent on it. You know, and I keep trying to tell Republican voters how they contradict themselves. They'll scoff, will make fun, you know, and I've caught myself doing it too. But it's like at some point, it's like, dude, pay attention to what's going on here. All right. Because Republicans will scoff at like, you know, black people, you know, who segregate themselves. You know, it's like, man, because the black community figured out a long time ago, look, man, if we're gonna have a fair shake, we're gonna have to like, you know, make our own stuff. And then, you know, the white Republicans be like, look at those morons self-segregate. I thought you were trying to get away from segregation and all that sort of stuff. Why are you self-segregating? Why do you feel like you have to have your own this and your own that? And then Republicans, what do they say? Man, if we're going to have a fair shake against these Democrats, we're going to have our own stuff. We're going to have our own social media and our own platforms and all that sort of stuff. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? So you feel like in order for you to have a fair shake in America from these Democrats, you're going to have your own stuff. What, you mean you're going to have to self-segregate? You know, so I've been trying to tell Republicans, like, look at the things, look at what you're doing and your response to it. And don't get me wrong, y'all. I'm not saying that it's not necessary. Yeah, there may be a point where it's like, dude, you have to have your own. You got to have your own stuff, but don't scoff at somebody else because like that's what they're freaking that they got to do to get a fair shake.
Yeah.
Because they were right. But it's like, look, man, in order to get a fair shake, we're gonna have to do this.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the Democrats, how fast and crafty they are, the first descriptions of the devil, crafty, subtle, and he's quick like a snake, all right? They make sure that they get to the black community really quick to make it look like it's somebody else's fault that they're disenfranchised.
Yeah.
Because Republicans don't move fast enough. All right? They just don't. As the saying goes, the lie gets up, man, and has run around the world, 7 times, while the truth is still putting on its shoes. All right, we got the truth. We got the information. Ain't got the speed, though.
No.
Ain't got the speed. So these people, we in enemy territory. We in enemy territory. These people, they're going to get away with what they get away with. And, once again, it's like Republicans, they're not, the Republican voters, they don't really do what it takes to say, like, man, this is what a party is. Now, I mean, what about all the Trump rallies? Look at all the MAGA rallies and stuff like that. Y'all, listen. That is a cult of personality. Okay? That's great. You've gotten people excited about Trump. Did you get people excited about conservatism? No. That is the thing that Republican voters don't sell.
Yep.
It's getting people excited about a figurehead, as opposed to getting people excited about the principles itself. That's a totally different thing. And what's even worse is that have you gotten people actually excited about biblical foundation? Nope. It's the politics. The politics represented by a figurehead. Y'all, that ain't, I'm telling you, man, that's not sustainable.
Yeah, and I was there by your side all those years in California when you would advise the politician who was running for office, it doesn't matter what county, what seat, you would advise them, we've got to get the area that you're running in excited about conservatism.
Yes.
You're not going to be excited about a politician, you've got to sell conservatism. And they always lost because it was always just about selling the politician.
Yep.
And Republican politicians don't sell well in California.
They don't, right? It doesn't take that. And like I said, now Trump, it's like, okay, people excited about Trump. Gotcha. Conservative, that once again, that's not sustainable, y'all. Okay? The principle is going to outlast the candidate. All right, the candidate, if you didn't sell the principle that's supposed to last, once that candidate is done, and if you really want to help your candidate have a better political term, dude, you got to have the spiritual and the cultural foundation to be able to support them with.
Yeah.
Which Republicans do not.
I think they kind of did in the 80s. Of course, you and I were like 4 years old, so it's before our time where we could understand. But the whole Reagan movement, Reagan Democrats, I think that back then they did sell it on the culture. I think the culture was sort of into this, what Reagan represented, because they then went on to elect him again. Then they went on to have George H. Bush, but then he ruined it with the whole raising taxes thing and lying. But we sustained that for a moment in history.
Culturally, it really was the hip thing to do. I mean, patriotism was big in wrestling.
Right, yeah.
It was like, in entertainment, patriotism was a big thing.
As children, we remember that.
Yeah, we totally remember that. And the 80s was a great time for that.
Yeah.
But then there was a subculture that was brewing underneath that, though. Okay, the underground movement, which was something that we were very interested in when we were, teens in the 80s.
Little rebellious teens.
Yeah, in the 80s, we were looking, we were I don't know how it happens, y'all. I don't do it. I touch nothing and just, I don't know, somebody, I guess maybe like somebody like in the inner workings of my stream or something like that just gets tired of hearing what I have to say and just goes ahead and hits the mute button because I don't touch it.
I don't have you back yet.
Hopefully you'll hear me in just a second. Hopefully.
There we go.
All right.
Can you repeat that last sentence?
What did I say?
I don't know. It was brilliant.
It's basically just, you know, hopefully it's not like I'm kicking a dead horse or anything like that, but, you know, Republicans just have to, the mainstream Republican voter, it's just something that they don't get. You guys get it. You know, like I said, that's why you tune in here. You understand.
Yeah.
But, you know, the vast majority of the Republican voter, they don't get it. And it's shown, it's proven. Okay, they don't get it. And this is why we have such a hard time with this left-wing lunacy. It shouldn't be this hard.
I know.
You know, but you know, mainstream Republicans, they don't want to hear it. They only want to hear from their mainstream influencers and stuff like that who stroke their pride and stroke their anger, and they think that that's the answer to this, and it ain't.
Yeah. Roland says, hope you and Zoe don't mind. I've been putting Zoe's name out on the Hodge twins, Tatum, Owens comment sections on YouTube because they still don't get Democrats. I don't care. I use Zoe's name and quotes if that's okay, especially with Cartier family, PragerU, Tatum, Owens, a lot other black conservatives who just aren't saying what Zoe's saying. Thank you, Roland.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, and I'm not trying to please don't take this as any sort of admonishment or anything like that. I've never really been one for you know, having my brand solicited on somebody else's page. You know, that's their turf, man. That's like going in. That's like, you know, me owning a Burger King across the street and then going over to McDonald's and say, hey, you know, Burger King has got some really good burgers and stuff like that. You know, and so it's, you know, tactfully, you know, I'm okay with it if it's cross promotion. You know, bear with me because, you know, it's like it's if you want to tell somebody about my stuff on somebody else's platform, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, letting them know that you're also promoting their work on my platform and things like that. I try to keep it mutual as much as possible. I don't really like to try to solicit on somebody else's page or have my stuff solicited. However, with this, what you're doing, Roland, I'm okay with it. I'll tell you why. Because these people hate me. They hate me.
I can vouch for that.
Right, they do. And the thing is, I've not given them any reason to. All right, there's Candace Owens. I've never given her any reason to dislike me, but she does. And she likes to pretend like I don't exist. Okay.
Even in person.
Yeah, even in person. I shared the stage with Candace Owens. All right, I've met her. I know how she is. I've met her personally. Not I haven't met her. All right, let's see. I've just been in the same space because she could barely get herself to look me in the eye. She's like a lot of these people, man. There's a bunch of people that I could just, it's like you get in the same room with them and they don't even want to look at you, right? At least they don't want to look at me, right? So, but yeah, so Candace hates me. Tatum hates me. They did that movie. What is that movie? Uncle Tom, right? They did, and people were asking. Actually, had some people asking. They said, "How come y'all didn't contact Zoe to be in that movie?" I was in Runaway Slaves. I was in the movie, and probably I think people have often told me one of the most memorable lines said in Runaway Slave came from you. But they didn't want to, and the same people who made Runaway Slave didn't want to involve me in Uncle Tom. They didn't want to. I don't care. You know, but what I think is weird though is that I was contacted. I got a contact and say, hey, you know, we're filming the Uncle Tom movie, and you know, we'd like to go ahead and get some footage. They contacted me after they got everybody else that they were going to be in the movie. They contacted me last, right? Contacted me last, and when I was like, okay, yeah, well, let's go ahead, we can meet at such and such a time, we'll go ahead and do it. Oh, you know what? Well, we got everything filmed already. right? Because they never really wanted me to be in the movie. They wanted me to help promote the movie,
Yep.
right? They wanted me to tell people about the movie, but they didn't want me to be in it. Yeah. So I mean, they hate me and I've never given them any reason to, right? So
No, you go around trying to help them promote their stuff.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand. I don't understand why they act like you don't exist.
yeah, and I mean, I do. I totally understand
I
why.
don't understand how people can be like that if we're all supposed to be in the same movement.
Yeah. Well, once again, as I've said before, these people act like, mentioning, my name would have me come upon them like Hades and steal the spotlight that serves as their soul. That's what they act like. I get it. Maybe they think I'm some sort of clown, man. I understand. I'm not an expert in any of this stuff. I don't live for politics and whatnot. I'm not a political junkie and whatever. So it's like maybe they think they don't take me seriously. I get it, that's fine. I've considered myself the clown prince of conservatism, So if I'm up to their standard of what should be a person who would be promoted, I get it. It doesn't really hurt my feelings. I just think it's just kind of lame though that this person, me, whom they would look down their nose on, y'all. I'm part of the generation that kicked the door open for these people. All right, it's like I was doing this before them, and my approach to conservative commentary has been a model. This very casual, no suit and tie, stuffy, right wing virtues and all that sort of stuff. I got to say I'm talking the same principles, y'all, but just delivering it different, and it took, right? It was proof of concept. And then others started to follow suit. All right, and I'm one of the people who kicked the door open for people like Tatum, Owens, Harris. These people that want to act like they're the trailblazers. So yeah, all that to say, Roland, sure, that's right. Go ahead and troll them. But and they probably go in and delete my comments to make sure, And the algorithm makes it to where if you mention my name, you can mention my name in the comments. It'll be invisible.
It will, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen it removed in other people's videos and other people's comments.
Mm-hmm.
It's mysterious.
It's almost like over 90% of the time. It'll either get removed. Sometimes it doesn't even have to be removed. It's just not visible.
Right.
Just because it's my
The
name.
thing that, I guess I do know why you're treated like the plague, is because you're looked down on. You're looked as a troglodyte because you lead with Christ.
Yeah.
So much.
Mm-hmm. That's really what it comes down to. They just want me to be, and like I said, y'all, they want to be seen as the trailblazers. They want to be seen as, I guess the blacks who are red pilling other people. The blacks who get it. We're special. We're the special kind of blacks. We're special and unique. They can't have it to where it's oh, wait a minute, you mean there was somebody who was doing this like well before we were? Oh, we can't have that. Right? It's like, no, we want you to look to us. We're the special ones. So that's really what it comes down to. Let's see. What else we got? Enough about me. Let's see. I know that you guys can hardly get enough. But MSNBC clown says Trump will call you a terrorist if you protest Tesla. And okay. So I mean, you once again, that hypocrisy, them double standards. As the saying goes, if Democrats didn't have double standards, they wouldn't have any standards at all. And that's what y'all become. You have it in legal form. What was there? Napolitano, I think. It was Homeland Security. Was she?
Yeah.
Yeah. And she put it in her.
Yep.
In her bill, labeling us as terrorists. If you're Christian, Republican, right-wing type, ex-veteran, a veteran, mm-hmm. If you're any of those, terrorist. So y'all use that kind of language against us. You call the Tea Party movement terrorist. You call it a Klan rally. Look at those old, rich, white people. It's just a big Klan rally. And it's like, are you kidding me? Klan rally, that wouldn't be a Klan rally. Klan rallies are they're younger. They're not older. They're fighting age, nutsos, who feel entitled to something, and want to go and impose their ideology on other people. Okay, that's the KKK. Old rich white people, no, that's not the KKK. Okay, more younger, not so rich. Some of them maybe, not most of them. All right. So once again, they don't know what they're talking about. And but the terrorists have always been on the left wing of the spectrum, y'all. Through the past 100+ years on the political spectrum, y'all. The politically motivated violence comes from left-leaning ideology. Communist ideology, these collectivist ideologies, socialist, Democrat voters, all your politically motivated violence, pretty much all come from the left wing, the left end of the spectrum. So this right here, them trying to, and this, I mean, man, you can just see this person just sit up there and just contort. You watch the video, it's like, dang girl, where you get that from? It's like you're gonna overlook, you're just gonna omit or just leave it out that these people are setting fires to stuff. You're just gonna, leave out any arson, leave out any violence, and just only the word protest.
Right.
Trump is coming against protesters. And she's just gonna leave. That witch is just gonna leave, and that's what she is, y'all. She's a witch. She's casting a spell because people buy it. They're under the influence, man. I'm telling you, man. Pharmakia, right? Don't think of it as don't dismiss it, y'all. Don't think of it. Don't overlook the power that the pharmaceutical industry has over the world. Let's say here in America, the pharmaceutical industry, from the word pharmakia. The word pharmakia means sorcery. It means witchcraft. That's what it means, right? That's what it infers to. And you got multitudes under that influence. That's why these people can go and say the crazy stuff that they say, and it just go right over people's head, and the eyes spinning, and they'll see us as the enemies, while the actual enemies of America.
Yeah.
Because these people are going to suffer for what they're doing too. They don't know, but they're under a spell, y'all. And the spell is easier to cast the more people don't register it. You want to try to scientifically explain it and all that sort of stuff. It's like, yeah, that's fine. You can try to break down the psychology of it, but just remember, psychology means study of the soul. You can't measure the soul, right? It's immaterial. If you're going to study the soul, you're going to need this in order to do it. That's the manual for the study of the soul, if you really want to get into psychology, So we ain't doing that. We're trying to go by the political psychology. We're trying to go by the cultural psychology and all this stuff, man. You got to get down to the nitty gritty of it, baby. You got to get into the soul of the psychology, because that's what the ology is for. That's what the study is for, the soul. So these people right here, this woman got a twisted up soul. Boris Karloff could do a song on her. You're a foul one, you dirty witch. So, but you having these cars, these Tesla dealers, they're under attack. The terrorism is going, y'all. And once again, I ask, where's the Second Amendment stopping these people from burning these places down? These actual terrorists. Because here's the thing, that if you go and you try to use that Second Amendment to defend the First Amendment, these people right here who are in control of the First Amendment are going to be the ones who are going to make you out to be terrorists.
Yep.
See what I'm saying? So it's like, when they be talking about the pen is mightier than the sword, it's one of those situations where you don't want to be a gun. You don't want to bring a gun to this knife fight. That's what they say, right? Never bring a knife to a gunfight. But when you got this pen that's mightier than the sword, well, that gun, practice, might as well shoot yourself with it. So, telling y'all, it's a whole different way that this battle has to be waged. And speaking of which, we got trans perp just pulls a gun on a street preacher for saying men can't be women. God bless this dude, for just, he holds it down, right? Transsexual just walks up to him, puts a gun in his face, mad, because like, look, man, men's is men's, women's is women's. Deal with it, So, because, hey, y'all, that's the first thing that's described of us. All right? Upon our creation, Adam, you a man. Eve, you a woman. Adam, I didn't just make only you and give you the option of being gender fluid. I don't need to make a woman. Adam, you can become a woman at any time whenever you want to. No, there's a distinctive entity referred to as woman with all the attributes of a woman, right? So that's at the beginning of our creation. And so this street preacher holding it down, and this person, I don't know if they got their gun legally or not, but hey, that's what we want, right? That's what we want. We want armed citizenry. And I guess where a person can just walk up to a person exercising their right to free speech. That's the first right of the First Amendment, free religious exercise. It's the first right. And once again, y'all, it had to be worded that way. It's really not the right wording. But, to make sure that there's a respected establishment of a religion and to make it, to really draw that line between it being a theocracy, and a state, that has, where you are free to exercise your religion. It had to be worded that way. But this person just figured that they would come on up and put this gun in this person's face.
Yeah.
Now, this doesn't say much to the idea that an armed citizenry is a polite citizenry. I don't think this was very polite.
Nope.
That's why I say, y'all. Now, I'm not for the government infringing on a person's Second Amendment rights. It says what it says, and it says what it says for a reason. But I am all about if you are a salesman of firearms, like say for instance, if I sold firearms, I would run background checks. Yeah. I do not think that it should be mandated by the state to run background checks. I just think it's a responsible salesman. Yeah, I want to know a little something about you. This is my property.
Crackling.
It seems to follow after they do the mute thing.
After what?
After the sound will go out and then it comes back in and it starts crackling.
Yeah. Oh, it's bad.
I apologize, folks. I don't know why that is.
It crackles and then it's fine and.
Yeah, it's and by the way, we did get a notification from our. We got a notification from our service provider that they were hacked, and they've been dealing with that. But I apologize, folks. I don't know why I always have to have. Well, I mean, I can speculate on why we're always having bad audio, but thank you so much for bearing with us. I know it's annoying and it's irritating, and hopefully I could still just go ahead and keep on pressing through the issue.
Yep.
But yeah, so what was I saying before I was crackly interrupted?
I was reading comments.
But yeah, there you go, y'all. If this person is able to just go ahead and get themselves a firearm, maybe but for me, if I'm selling firearms, yeah, I want to know a little something about you.
Yeah.
This is my property, and how I sell my property is my right. I'm not obliged to sell anybody. Sell to anybody whom I don't want to. If I have criteria concerning my product, I have the right to be able to impose that criteria. Mm-hmm. A reasonable imposition of this criteria. Okay? If I want to look at your records, I should be allowed to. Okay? That's my stipulation upon selling a firearm. I want to make sure that I'm not selling my firearm who's a person who's got like a history, a person who's got like who walks in and they've got a chip on their shoulder and all that sort of
Right.
stuff, or walking in with like some and can't tell if they're a man or a woman. Mm-hmm. It's like, look, man, if you got this thing where you can't tell if you're a man or a woman, I am not going to sell you a firearm.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to do it. Your mental state is compromised as far as I'm concerned. I can sell
Very.
you a firearm. You know?
So obviously, okay, this is a dude who thinks he's a lady. This dude who's walking around pointing guns in Christians' faces. So he goes and buys his gun, passes a background check, but is a trans. Can the firearm salesman legally deny him the sale? Because now in the civil rights laws, we're not allowed to discriminate on that basis.
That's right.
Right? So you'd have to sell this mentally ill person a firearm if he can pass his federal background check.
What I say, y'all. What I say. Talking about that Second Amendment protects the first. This person is going to use their so-called, they're going to abuse, not use, they're going to abuse the First Amendment right to still be able to get their hands on a gun. And this person is able to walk up to people, is using that to walk up to people and stick guns in their face. I'm telling y'all that the battle has to be fought in a totally different way. You should be able to say, look, I don't have the confidence in your mental state to be able to sell you a firearm. You should have the right to be able to, as the saying goes, I have the right to refuse service to anyone. This is y'all, we're not talking about a discrimination against, an immutable trait of whether a person is white, black, or whichever, man or woman and whatnot. This is a discrimination against behavior. All right, if this person lacks the ability to distinguish between men and women, this person obviously is going to have a handicap in terms of distinguishing between right and wrong, good and evil. I don't want to give this person a firearm. I shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
But people who are in office, who have had the cultural support and the demonically spiritual support to go in and pervert the laws in the favor of perverts, have made it to where, hey, they have the freedom, they're free to express themselves this way. And you can't discriminate against that. Give them a firearm. Right? So that's where we're at. And while you, I don't know the conditions on how this person got a firearm. I don't know. Maybe they borrowed the gun or something. I don't know.
Yeah, don't know.
But I do know this. It's like you can use your firearm in the right way and you be liable.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Absolutely.
So let's see.
Yeah, Jay says, I used to work in a gun store. My ATF inspector told me to my face, you get paid to discriminate. And Mark says, a firearm dealer can refuse to sell you a weapon for pretty much any reason. I think this is probably a blue area, if I had to guess, because this guy is street preaching. So this tranny was probably able to get a gun very easily because there's probably liberals selling the guns.
Yeah. They're talking about forming militias.
Yep.
They're talking about being trained up. Don't think y'all, remember, we're dealing with, I'm talking the pinnacle of hypocrisy. Yeah, I've been saying, I've been pointing out as long as I've been doing this. It's like, yeah, liberals, they talk about being anti-gun and all that sort of stuff. Y'all, I lived in Hollywood. All right, I lived and you go and on the big buildings, plastered on the big buildings and on their billboards and all that sort of stuff. All these anti-gun activists and stuff like that. These actors, who's A-listers and whatnot, posing with their guns, right? They're promoting a new movie, and the big selling point of their movie is making sure you see them posing with their guns and stuff like that. Hypocrites, y'all. So don't think that just because these people are anti-guns that they're slow to get their hands on a gun and use them against you. Always bear that in mind, y'all. And I'm pretty sure you guys figured out we're dealing with total hypocrites here. Don't put nothing past them. They demon driven, y'all. right? Let's see. President Trump skewers Rosie O'Donnell. We're on that rotisserie. So, hey, I guess there's a little respect I could have for Rosie. She left. All right, these people
True.
that talk about, they're going to leave America if Trump is president, and she got on out. Hey, good on you, Rosie.
Respect.
Yeah, she went to Ireland, right?
Yep.
She gave the Irish another reason to drink.
Poor Ireland.
I know, right? So
Yeah, Tom Jensen says, I feel bad for Ireland. Me too.
Yeah. It's like, luck of the Irish. I guess the luck of the Irish ran out, didn't it? Yeah, somebody just took a shillelagh to that luck. And you guys got Rosie O'Donnell now. O'Donnell, I guess, yeah, O'Donnell, that's a traditional Irish name.
I guess so, yeah. I've never thought about that.
How's my accent on it? Was that pretty good? Irish. Irish.
Kind of sounds more Scottish.
No! Irish. There you go. I just gotta. That's how you see when you say it. You gotta do your head like Irish. Yeah, there you go. You can't sit like this. And say because it's not gonna come out right. You're gonna try to say Irish. You're just gonna say it'll sound Scottish. You gotta be like Irish. There we go.
There is a difference.
Yeah, there's a difference, right? Yeah, Dan's get my leprechaun thing going on. Because as far as I know, I got Scottish in my lineage.
Yes, you have a lot of Scottish.
That's probably
your grandmother had a lot of Scottish in her.
okay. Because that's it's probably why I can't really do an Irish. It's too much of the Scottish comes out. It comes out when I try to do it. And I always thought that Kelly, was Irish. But
too.
I get as far as I know, it is, especially if it's O'Kelly. But actually, like if you throw the O in front of it, that's more of an Irish, I think culture. And if you throw a Mac in front of it, that's more Scottish.
Yep.
I think so we would be Mac Kelly. No, but
yeah, but you are McKissick. That's your Scottish name.
Yeah. So we. And I have yet to try some haggis. Got to try that, I guess, at some point.
I would try
Yeah, when they say, if you ask, what's Scottish, what haggis is like, I think it's supposed to taste like, it's basically sausage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I could do that.
I could do that, too.
Because, dig sausage. And if sausage is basically in intestinal casing.
Yes.
It's encased in the stuff that doo-doo moves through.
I just don't think about that when I eat sausage.
And it's delicious. But, haggis is encased in sheep's bladder. Sheep's bladder can't be as off-putting as intestines. So, intestines, chitlins, booty noodles.
Oh no, where's Sandy when we need her?
Because basically when you have sausage, I guess that's kind of like what you're having, is a booty noodle. It's some ground up, different kinds of. What all is in sausage? Is it like it's gonna have some muscle and some organ meat in it as well? I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, like chorizo. I didn't know that chorizo was is salivary glands. I didn't know there's chorizo. I really like chorizo. Chorizo is quite delicious. There's a particular I can't remember what the brand is at the top of my head, but I know the logo when I see it.
Yeah.
And I was grabbing it's like the beef chorizo, and I looked at the ingredients one time because I always thought it was just like a sausage, but it's like sausage. Think about what is sausage, and I looked at it. It's like salivary glands, and it's almost like. And I think tongue is the cow tasting me on the way down?
Ew.
Right?
Gross.
It's an interesting thing to think about. And on another note, when you think about like lunch meat, when you get lunch meat, I guess lunch meat is a kind of sausage. Like when you get salami and bologna and stuff like that, those are slices cut from one big sausage, I think. When the sausage comes out of the thing, that's this paste. Yum yum. All right. Look what we got out of Rosie O'Donnell. Baloney. So let's see.
Wait, High Mileage Husband says, I figure Rosie would have moved back to Wales. Wales.
Let me get on my drum and give you a stinger, man. Let me give you a stinger. I've got to be back with my own kind. Man, that was kind of, no, that was still kind of Scottish, wasn't it? I gotta be back with my own kind. Yeah, there we go. There was the Irish. Okay, see, when you do the Irish, you gotta, you gotta hear like the music getting better. You gotta, anyway.
The happy dance.
You know I love my Irish folk. Let's see, really dig that. What's that? What was that? What's that drink? Baileys.
Yes.
That's a tasty
Irish
drink.
cream.
Yes, right. That's a tasty drink. Kind of, it got for me. It started to get a little bit too rich for me though. I'd like to have it on occasion, drink it straight. Because you guys know I don't really. I'm not lactose intolerant or anything like that. But I don't really care for milk. The only dairy I really like is just cheese. I love pizza, cheeseburgers and stuff. I really like cheese. But other than that, dairy products I don't really like. And Irish cream, I love the flavor of it, but it's still kind of rich for me. So I would end up, if I had some, I would dilute it with almond milk because I really like almond milk, and dilute it with that, and get my Irish cream drink on, or mix it with some coffee. Oh yeah, man, So I can really get down with the Irish style as far as that goes.
It's so delicious.
Quite good. We got it. It's. Before spring kicks in, I reckon any season is good. But it's a cozy drink.
It is very, yeah.
That's a cozy drink to.
How about St. Patrick's Day?
Wait, is that it? That's in March. Is it
March 17th.
March 17th. Okay, there you go. And it'll still be winter, I think. It's starting to feel like spring. Spring's March 22nd, I think, is when it kicks in.
Yeah.
All right. It's a date. What you say, baby?
Yes.
Can I take you out on a date for some? Some Irish whiskey, and coffee, or, mix it in a hot drink or something like that and get cozy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right. Now, really talk about the luck of the Irish. Get lucky.
Stop it. Did you read what Trump said to the Irish president? He said, did you know you have Rosie O'Donnell now? Do you know who she is? Then he's like, no. He's all, you're lucky. You're better off not knowing.
Yeah. I mean, that's some good trolling right there. You know who she is? It's like, even that right there, just the question right there, it's like, yeah, take that, Rosie. It's like, I'm going to ask somebody, do you know who she is? And then he's going to respond, no. It's like, So let's see. All right. Let's get to this Texas embalmer arrested after castrating corpse of sex offender. You late. Anyway, sex offender. And once again, I hope you guys, if you guys go to the website and bronzesurfermedia.com and check out my music page, Sledge X. I got a couple albums on there, Divine Battery and Electric Exodus. And Electric Exodus has a song on there called Trauma Sutra. I hope you guys will check that out. Since we're on the topic of,
Trauma.
Yeah, sexual trauma.
Yeah.
And also castration. A couple of words that are used in that song. I hope you guys will check it out.
Less Than 3 Entertainment says, how does one milk an almond? And Sledge-O-Matic says, tiny almond udders.
Tiny almond udders. I mean, because, hey, man, I'm of the opinion that if milk comes from any sort of anything that comes from plant life, it's not really milk, it's juice.
Yeah.
It's
almond juice.
And you know what? Matter of fact, I just might as well go ahead and start saying it. I like almond juice.
Yeah.
Right? Give me some almond juice. Calling it milk is, it's milky.
That's true.
It's milky. I mean, and the thing is, especially coming from the Hebrew, when you're talking about, when you use the word for milk, it's denoting fat. is really what it comes down to, and that's what milk is. It's that, and where you get milk, you get cheese, or and things like that. And if you get this milky substance, I reckon it's because of the fat content of it, and that's what you're getting from the almond, which technically makes it milk, but it still grows on a tree, so it's juice. Well, it does grow on a tree. Get my botanicals correct here.
I know it's all marketing, but now it's kind of creepy that it's called milk.
Yeah, I guess it kind of is. And we got all kinds of milks out there. Almond milk, soy milk, oat milk, pecan milk, coconut milk.
Pecan milk.
Yeah, there's pecan milk. I haven't tried that. That seems like it'd be pretty. I love pecans, right? And I want to get them disco balls rolling. And one of the flavors I got, y'all, is maple pecan pie poppers, right? Man, pecan, it's a mashup of pecans, a little bit of maple flavor in there, right? Maple syrup. I don't really use the maple syrup like as like a sweetener. The dates are already like really sweet.
Yeah.
How I use the maple syrup, I'm gonna give y'all a little secret of how I make mine so good. Is that you take the pecans and you caramelize them, or with the maple syrup. That way the pecans stay crunchy when you mix them with the dates. You got a good crunch to it and stuff like that. So these maple pecan pie poppers, and so all that to say, but I really like pecans. But pecan milk, it's like, I don't know, probably good. Seems like it'd be pretty rich though. I'm gonna stick to the almond milk. Let's see. Anyway. What was I talking about? Where was that article? The embalmer. Yeah. How could I forget? Talking about taking somebody's genitals and sticking it in their mouth. Post-mortem. All right. So now, okay, I it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I don't think I would do that, but I understand.
Yeah.
I don't think this person is gonna care considering where they are. Unless they've repented and given their lives over to the Lord and confessed, before men that, hey, I'm serving Jesus, he's the way, and that's a whole nother thing. And she did this in front of one of her students.
Yes, she was training a student, and she told the student, you saw nothing.
Why would you do that? It's like, okay, you gonna do this in front of a student and tell them to not say anything? Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, this woman has some issues. Probably a victim of sexual assault herself, or someone that she loves, a victim. Maybe she's got a child.
Yeah,
true. I don't know if she knew the decedent or anything like that, but evidently she's got, for lack of a better word, a legitimate gripe against, as I think we all should. Okay, it's a detestable thing to do to somebody, to sexually assault somebody or impose your urges upon someone, without, really comprehensive consent here, and everything else that goes with it. But to mutilate the dead, and I guess the person makes the case of, this is just not something that you do to a corpse, the morality of defiling a corpse or anything like that. And of course, I would say you don't defile anybody, especially the living. But to have this kind of like concern for the dead, I don't know if this person, like the Lord will say, man, let the dead bury the dead. You have all this concern for the dead. Won't you show that kind of respect while you alive, baby? But this right here, what sort of closure, what sort of satisfaction were you expecting to get out of this by doing this? And then showing a student and then not expecting them to say anything. As a matter of fact, you using the kind of language that a sex offender would use. It's gonna be our little secret.
Right. It says the charging document filed in Harris County District Clerk's office states that Loudermilk stabbed and castrated Rodriguez's body as well as carried out additional abuses. And the Texas Funeral Service Commission referred the incident to the county constable precinct for further investigation.
And it's in Texas.
Houston, yeah.
I know how the mentality goes. It's like, I'm gonna teach you a lesson. That's how it is. Like in Texas, like in the southern states, like everybody needs to be taught a lesson. I'm gonna teach you a lesson. right? So that's what she was going to that was probably her mind. I'm going to teach you a lesson. And so now a very pressing question about this, since she's an embalmer. Hey, while you was like, stabbing, this corpse and cutting off the naughty bits, sticking them in his mouth, did you happen to notice any of those white rubbery things in there?
Right. Yeah.
Did you see any? When you were bleeding the person out, did you see any of those black flecks that was coming out in their blood or anything like that?
Right.
I guess
Those unusual clots.
Yeah, but maybe if she did, maybe it's because the person didn't get the clot shot, if you will.
Right.
So I wonder if she saw any of those things. But yeah, I get it. Ma'am, what this person did was detestable. But you may need to understand that what you did was rather perverted as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pervert town, what you did.
Yes, indeed.
So, yeah. Next, what do we got here? Disturbing! DEI activist caught on voicemail allegedly helping minorities cheat on air traffic control exams, potentially endangering millions of lives, and probably what this person means to do. But here's my takeaway on this, y'all. You got a DEI activist caught on voicemail, and they're helping minorities cheat. What's the matter, cuz? You don't have the confidence that black folks can excel in that field? You gotta help them cheat. Are you making the case, that, black folks don't have the level of intelligence to handle a job like this? That's all you're doing, right? That's the kind of confidence that was lacking when it came to affirmative action. It's like, dang, man, are you here because of a quota, or do you actually have the qualifications to do the job that you're doing? My confidence is kind of lacking. And don't get me wrong, y'all. Listen, there was a time when certain exceptions did need to be made for black folks because America was under apartheid with the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party put laws in place that marginalized the black community, and there had to be measures that we're not there anymore, man. We've been out of that for a long time, for decades, y'all. Now, but don't get me wrong, because the Democrats haven't changed. So I get where this person is coming from. Once again, and we're going to talk about getting a fair shake. It's like you're going to have to do certain things, but it doesn't hold up, y'all, because these people who would follow this person's lead, who they most likely voting for? They voting for Democrats. So you got no excuse. You're acting like you're getting cheated in America and you don't have a fair shake, but you vote for the people who make sure that that's the way it stays. Which is, well, I want to say it's stupid, but once again, y'all, Democrats, man, they get in there early, man. They set that wiring early. It's a hard wiring to get cut loose from. Democrats are just in it. This is a product of that. But basically, dude, that's all you're saying, man. That's all you're saying is that we're not smart enough. We're not smart enough to go in there and really comprehend the job and execute our duties with it with excellence. You're basically saying that, it's a job that we really don't deserve, and we have to cheat in order to get in there. It's y'all. This and I'm pretty cheat on what? Why would you even have to cheat? Is the questionnaire, is the test different?
This is the entry exam that he was giving all the sheets to. The entry exam.
Okay, so this exam, is it different? I mean, Democrats used to give crazy tests,
Yeah,
right? To make sure
true.
that to show that the black folks weren't comprehensive enough to vote. They have tests like that. Not supposed to do that, but Democrats did.
Yeah.
So to get into this exam, is a different test given to black folks than are given to white folks? Is it a different test? Because if it's not, once again, you're making the case that black folks. Because here's the thing: if there's some racist who's reading the test results, they can change the results if they want to. What do you need to cheat for? It wouldn't matter. They're gonna do what they're gonna do with the results, whatever they're gonna do anyway. So once again, all you're doing is making the case is that the same test can be given to white folks and the same test can be given to black folks, but black folks don't stand a prayer because they're too stupid to understand it, so you have to help them cheat. Thanks. Right? So once again, that's Democrats, man. They're Democrats and they got their grip on people like this.
Yeah.
And this is what keeps us in this state of arrested development, if you will. Right now, I myself, it's like, I guess this is kind of a sore spot for me because I'm not, an aviation enthusiast, but I do find aircraft, the industry fascinating. I wanted to be a pilot. I was studying to be a pilot. Probably better, maybe, I don't know, maybe it was, because I'm not as enthusiastic about it, I did want to be a pilot, but I don't think I really had like a passion for it, and because I don't really have that passion to be a pilot, or didn't have the passion to be a pilot, it's probably better that I didn't, continue the training to be one. But I do enjoy, the topic of aviation, so. But this right here, this is insulting, this guy.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got here. Going out on this one, FCC questions YouTube TV over allegation it discriminates against Christian content. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Of course they do. Yeah. So there you go. And it's hypocrisy. I mean, you can go on YouTube, you can get away with all sorts of stuff that violates their guidelines.
Yes.
You're not supposed to have, I don't think you're supposed to have nudity or anything like that. They do. They got violent content on there, but I guess as long as it suits their narrative, it's okay. They'll send me notifications telling me that my videos, I've been accused of having nudity in my videos, sexually explicit content, violence, all that. I'm like, do y'all even watch my videos?
No, they don't.
Excessive foul language? Wow. Seriously, I get notifications from YouTube telling me that. And I go, okay. So, but yeah, I mean, the thing is, YouTube wish that I had that content. That's the content that they really want me to do. They make sure that my content isn't seen because of my Christian-laden content, right? So, FCC, holla at your boy if you want to know. But I guess, maybe you'll just take YouTube TV's word for it over people who are actually dealing with them dealing with them discriminating against them, like yours truly. Yeah.
So the FCC is deciding whether or not to come up with a bunch of regulations against platforms like YouTube TV that want to stream videos and movies.
Now, I guess, everything, constitutionally, commerce is supposed to be regulated. Okay, that's fine. Excuse me. But here's what it comes down to. It's the regulation part that doesn't bother me. It's who interprets, who has the appointment, who has the office, and who arranges the scope and is able to get away with their interpretation of regulation. To what degree are they going to regulate and all that sort of stuff? That's the tug of war that we're always going to be in. Okay, it is constitutionally acceptable for these regulations in commerce, right? Who is going to have this word of what that scope is during the tenure? That's where we have to be in there and say, look, man, no, this is the scope of the regulation right here. You're abusing it. Okay, you're taking some whacked out liberties here with the degree of regulations that you're doing, and who you're imposing the regulations on, the favoritism that you're showing with regulations, and letting people get away with certain things, and a hamstringing somebody else. All right, so yeah, that's all. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested to see what's going to come out of this, you know, because it does and it doesn't affect us. The article starts out discussing that the FCC is aware of all of the Christian and faith-based content creators on YouTube itself who have been dealing with discrimination
Yeah.
and censorship. But it doesn't really say it's going to do anything about that. This
Yeah.
is more pertaining to YouTube TV discriminating against Christian movie channels.
Yeah, and I mean YouTube is going to be the biggest figure concerning in all things YouTube, but yeah, the discrimination has been there for years, y'all.
And it'll still be there.
Yeah, and of course they're aware of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's been going on for a long time, and yeah, they're aware of it. You know,
Yep, they
That-
sure are.
doesn't help us much. But,
Nope.
but we're gonna keep on swinging, y'all. Well, you know, like I said, we get it. We understand, you know, what we're up against, and they know it too. And like I said, Big Con knows it too. And you know, like you know, these influencers in Big Con, you know, they have their platform as, you know, being these influencers who are doing their talk and stuff like that. They don't want something more interesting to compete, you know, to compete with. They don't want that kind of stuff, man. It pulls people away from them. I mean, if you have an entertaining and creative way of delivering this sort of stuff, why should you listen to them? And I think they do themselves a disservice. But they don't want that. If it's going to be done, they want to be the ones to do it. They don't really want the competition. And you know, and of course, you know, the left wingers, you know, who run this sort of stuff, they don't want people to be turned on to biblical principles of how we can preserve America. They want America torn down and reshaped in their image, in their ideas, and which would make us Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
We don't want to be Sodom and Gomorrah.
Exactly.
All
That's
right.
what they want.
So let me. Here's an opportunity for me to embarrass myself more. What was somebody asking?
Jay asked on Monday, serious query, how is Governor Abbott, or how is Abbott as governor?
Yeah, real talk. What's going on in the state, in local politics, I really don't keep my ear to the ground as much as it goes.
It'll just make you mad.
Yeah, it's because a lot of it is just really disappointing. I mean, I do catch wind of it. I'm like, for real, dude. You know what? I mean, like I said, when I was in California, it was all about you need to get out of California. You need to come to a conservative state. You need to come to Texas and stuff like that. I'm like, y'all, even from California, and this was years ago. I'm telling you, man, liberalism is taking over in your state. You talk about how conservative you are. As I'm looking at these things, I'm like, yeah, it's getting you too. And you know, as far as Abbott goes, you know, there's some good qualities and some things are disappointing. I don't really have strong feelings either way. I really don't. I'm telling you, just y'all, for me, just trying to stay surfaced. And I know that's how the Democrats want us, y'all. They want us putting out a bunch of fires and not really paying attention. And I'm guilty for doing that. It's like I'm just trying to, you know, keep the lights on. All right. I ain't got time to be thinking about, you know, Abbott all the time. And I don't, you know, I know you're not saying I got to think about him all the time. And I know you're just asking, what do I think of him? You know, but some things are like, I appreciate, you know, him, you know, holding it down, like when it comes like to the border issue and,
Yes.
you know, them imposing, you know, certain mandates and stuff like that. I appreciate that. I think he kind of dropped the ball on the environmental thing. That cost a lot of people their lives, you know, with him rolling over and kowtowing to like the environmentalists and stuff like that, putting in apparatus that really couldn't handle the weather. Right?
Yeah, it put the Texas grid, which is independent from the rest of the country, at risk.
Yeah.
Like it couldn't handle the need that 2021 snowstorm brought.
Yeah.
There were people who died in their homes, and
Yeah.
a lot of people I know at work who were elderly were in freezing cold houses for a week, and they survived. But I mean, hopefully he learned his lesson.
Yeah, that's a big one, y'all. And but like I said, I don't really have strong feelings, either way. So hopefully, I apologize if that's not an in-depth answer. State and local politics. When I do catch wind of it, and I'm not looking for things to be cynical about. It's just what I hear about. It's like, dude, for real. Let me go ahead back into my cave. And I don't want to come out anymore.
Yeah. I do like, I'm going to say one kind thing about Governor Abbott, that he does support Ken Paxton, our amazing Attorney General. He is fully supportive of him and all these rhinos that run the state of Texas for decades. They are all trying to get Ken Paxton out, and it has a lot to do with child sex trafficking and their need to continue that, and Ken Paxton's really going to try to get in the way of that, and they don't like that.
The rhino element in Texas is big, y'all.
Oh yeah.
Big rhino element, and Dallas is like the sex trafficking capital of America.
Yeah, sadly.
So it's like you said, there's gonna be a lot of people in government workers.
Yep.
Elected, appointed. You're gonna be trying to protect that interest. Sad, man.
Yeah.
What else? There was another question.
There was one more question. Captain Spire wanted to know, what did you think of Tom McDonald?
Not a fan. Not a fan of Tom McDonald. The ambiguity of where he's supposed to be coming from. I know a lot of people. He's. I put him in the same boat with people like Andrew Tate. Now I don't know. I don't think Tom McDonald is a pimp or anything like that.
Right.
But I think a lot of conservatives or this generation, they gravitate to people like this because they seem to have a conservative message. And thinking different from liberals doesn't make a person a conservative. It's like like say for instance, Islam thinks totally different from Jews, but that doesn't make them Christians. Tom McDonald, like when he has like baby clothing that, is basically an endorsement for that, drunken lifestyle from when you're a kid. It's like, dude, I don't think it's cool to clothe kids in that.
Yeah, a onesie
babies.
Promoting getting drunk is not Republican. It's
Yeah.
not appropriate.
Right? Well, they got some out there who like to, go drink beers and shoot guns. But, and I know that, y'all, because I've been invited to do it. Hey, man, we'll go have some beers and, drink some. I'm like, dude, if it's not a good idea to have a few beers and get behind the wheel, something that's not meant for killing people, why would I go drinking and shoot? It's like, well, I'm not going anywhere with you. But, I mean, I guess in Tom's defense, like, no, well, that's what it's all about. Is that when I was younger, I did those things, but I grew out of it. It's like, okay, well, basically, what you're telling them is okay, well, you have your experience with it. You can go ahead and be a drunk kid, and one day you'll grow out of it.
Yeah.
That's all you're saying. Let them have their drunken experience. You had your drunken experience with your youth. In your youth, you had your drunken experience, and you got of it. Let me have mine. Fill that bottle with some liquor, right? So that's that kind of stuff. So I listened to his message, and he likes to have this kind of demonic image to him and whatnot, and I didn't listen to a whole bunch of his lyrics. It seemed like his lyrics is kind of profanity laced, and
They are.
yeah. And it's like, for real, man. It's like you promote profanity in the culture. If you promote profanity, you sow the seeds of profanity in the culture, you will reap a profane culture. You're gonna curse the very culture. You're cursing in this culture, and then you're gonna complain about the culture. You're your own feedback loop, dude. You contribute to it.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if you think that your message is different from what liberals have and stuff like that. It may be different, but it doesn't mean it's not conservative. It's not a conservative message. It's still feeding the same thing. You just feeding it from a different angle. That's all. You know, so no, I don't really think much of Tom McDonald. Not really a fan. And did he mention that he was?
Yeah, he's got engaged.
Right? You off the market?
He asked, and she said yes.
Right on. Hey, congratulations. You know, and hey, the Lord's blessing, and may he be, you know, just be that God glue that keeps y'all together, baby. You know, so that's good to hear. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much. BronzeSerpentMedia.com. Hope you guys will tune in, become members there. Hey, and I got some sexy swag over at BronzeSerpentMedia.com. If you guys check out the page, you guys go to the store page. Got a whole bunch of new colors. Got a couple new designs on there. Hope you guys check out got designs for the Sledge X. Sledge X God willing, Sledge X will sledge again, but still got music on there, man. So you guys can represent Sledge X in the culture. I need my sledge heads, man. Sledge heads, go get that sledge gear. It's got sledge head shirts. Got the shirts for the Zopium Den. Got shirts for the Loft. Right, nice, you know, vibrant colors and mellow and neutral colors and all that. You're gonna look sexy in them, right? So get those. They might look as good on you as they do on me. And we got those. Got the Bronze Serpent Media shirts. Got some. I got your. Some people say, hey, if you do a MAGA shirt, Make America Grateful Again, I'll get one. Well, they're available, right? MAGA, Make America Grateful Again. They there. Right, I got the Make America First, right? I got the America First shirts, but it's got America crossed out and it's got Jesus over America, because that's what it takes to make America great. Got those, right? So for you for our cat owners, right? I got a shirt for you, and it's got the cat pointing up at his owner, scooping out the litter box, and it's basically pointing to how cats view us. The doo-doo fairy, right? It sure says doo-doo fairy on it, because that's how they see us, right? I gave you some doo-doo, now give me a treat. Let's keep that circle going, right? So if you want your doo-doo fairy shirt, BronzeSerpentMedia.com, come get your shirt. Thank you guys for indulging me as I did me a little promo for my swag, my sexy swag. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Y'all have a groovy rest of your evening. Bye.